Hello, and welcome back to Baki Taki Season 6, Episode 4, Boy. I know I start a lot of sentences with boy, but that was just the title of the episode. It's just boy this time. But boy, do I have a great surprise for everybody. We have a new guest, first time in a while. Introducing Sam.
Hi, how is everybody?
How is everybody? Tell us in the comments, and
Yeah,
we'll find out.
let me know in post.
Hello, Sam. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So the fun thing about getting a new guest on is I have a question that I use for a new guest, which I haven't been able to use for a while because I burned through everybody I know, and I very rarely make new friends. It's the joy of my 30s. But here is my question for you, just so the audience gets a chance to get to know you a bit. Other than Baki, what's a show that you've been watching or something that you've seen recently?
Ooh, that's interesting actually. So my partner and a familiar friend of yours has been dying to get me to watch The Sopranos. And
Of
for
course you would.
2 years I fended that off. But we have finally begun, and begrudgingly, but maybe not surprisingly, I'm very much enjoying it. So that's what we've been doing the last month.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't watched The Sopranos. I'm sure I'd enjoy it if I did. It's funny. With Lindsay, we had a similar thing where I tried to get her to watch Breaking Bad for years, and
So
then
good. I love Breaking
she
Bad.
hated it every step of the way. And
Oh, really?
I,
All the way through? She
oh,
never came to like it?
I kept telling her it gets better because I do think it gets better each season, and she kept being like,
Oh, absolutely.
Still not good, still not liking it." So we watched
Not for
five
everyone,
seasons
I
of
guess.
that. Yeah. All right. And second question, which I ask everybody, coming into this record, what did you know about Baki? What was your preconceptions?
I honestly had zero. And I tried to keep it that way because I was asked not too long ago to come onto the podcast, and I had obviously the choice to do a little research if I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But I think part of the fun was going in blind. I mean, I might have had the basics of what I would have expected the show to be, the fighting,
Mm-hmm.
the tensions, the histories, whatever. But I didn't know any of the characters. Honestly, still don't know that I know any of the characters. I can tell you what I think I put together, but I had nothing going in.
Awesome. That's what I love to hear. So, you're lucky because this season, we'll just touch briefly on the theme song. I sort of hate it. I think it's one of the weakest themes I've seen from Baki. But it's
That
sort of,
is so interesting that you say that because it was one of the first things I was going to comment on. It was insane.
I was going to
It's
say it's
like
great for you because it recaps the entire series in one weird montage.
it's a long intro. It's like when you like take down the number of how like many minutes the episode was and how much of that was like the opening song.
You know,
It was
you know
pretty impressive.
the funny thing is, as I've watched a bunch of anime recently, they almost always the OP will be 90 seconds.
Okay.
And I think that standardization hurts Baki because this did not need to be 90 seconds. It could have
Fair.
been a lot shorter. Anyway, like what was your thoughts leaving that opening? Like, what did you pick up from it?
Honestly, I'm going to be so real with you. I was so distracted by the fact that it felt like All Out Boy took over anime just from the music itself. As somebody who is a musical person, I was so distracted by that that I probably missed a lot of the context in the opening. I was really dialed in after that, but I was just kind of vibing to the song.
Yeah, fair enough. I always let see nothing really sticks for me for that except I like at the end when it says "Don't be afraid, don't be
Yeah,
afraid."
it does like shift, and it's I wasn't expecting that either, right? Like I do pick up on the fact that we just switched to that.
Hmm. So let's jump in. So we left off right before our confrontation was about to start at the end of the last episode. And I'll let you set the stage first. Like, tell me what you thought was going on in this scene in the underground arena.
Yes. Okay. So come in. We have three characters, none of which I know anything about.
Hmm.
And I I could tell there's obviously a conflict here. I get the sense in this arena, it gave me very like Roman Colosseum vibes. So felt that it was the battleground type of place.
Mm-hmm.
Right away was just very thrown because it seemed like a battle was actively happening, even though it wasn't. Or was, I don't know. I'm still unclear on that. You're watching somebody get slashed repeatedly. However, they're just having a conversation. So already off to a great start, real lost there. I I would say I had a lot more, or I think I had a lot more context as to who each person was leading into like the second part of the episode, except for the initial challenger, if that's what you would call him.
So that it's funny because that guy, you missed nothing. The only context
Okay.
we've ever seen of that guy before was last episode we saw him walk into the room. Editor Steve, I thought it'd be fun to just give all of the context we got, because it's not much.
He's here. He has a sword. That's Kyoichiro Sabu. He is the unrivaled swordsman of present-day Japan.
So this is
Amazing.
This is a new guy for the listeners. This is Sabu the Killer. I heard him described as.
Oh wow.
He seems to be at least 60 years old because he says he's been
He's
a swordsman
old.
for 60 years. And he's killed 20 guys with a sword.
Rumors suggest that he may have even cut down more than 20 people. Mr. Tokugawa.
Gotta be a record these days. And he's probably, I think he's supposed to be like the greatest swordsman living today, is how I interpreted him.
Yes, he was supposed to be very celebrated in all of this.
Mm-hmm. But he did immediately die 7 times, which was unfortunate.
Since I set foot in the ring, it's happened 6 times already. Huh? Just now makes it 7. I've now been cut down by him. A full 7 times in a row.
Yes, repeatedly, and just seemingly like, I don't know, was it like a meta thing that was happening in their own minds? Like, I'm still trying to figure out what kind of battle that was.
So this is a recurring thing that's going to happen all season, so I do want to focus a bit on this.
Okay.
So Sabu is standing there in front of Musashi Miyamoto, and we'll get into him next. But
Yes.
as he's standing there, of course, he imagines a slash going right through his body. I think from head to groin, just cutting him in half.
Yes.
And he imagines
They call it the reverse something or other because it was like the way that it was cut.
the hachimanji. It was like a Chinese 8, I think is what they said.
You did what to him? The first strike I felt
was Hachimonji.
Hachimonji? Yes, it's exactly as he said. What does that mean? Hachimon. I was cloven clean in 2 from my head, straight down through my torso. Split through the center, so my body became Hachimonji, the Chinese character for 8.
Yes.
So he imagines himself getting cut, and from what I can tell, what is happening here is that Musashi Miyamoto is so good with a sword that he can imagine the intent to kill you with his sword so clearly that you will feel it, even without you really participating at all.
Okay, so yeah, that is, I mean, the vibe I got, right? Like he was like almost manifesting it to the point that it was happening.
Yeah, manifest with a capital M-A-N.
So yeah, that was very interesting. And honestly, I don't know that I ever felt I got resolution in that scene because all of a sudden we're just in another room with 2 other people.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, 1 familiar and 2 who I now know to be Baki.
Yeah. It does sort of just jump because the fight just ends. The guy gives up. He says like, I don't want to fight. I've already died 7 times. And he goes home. I will just to give a bit more context. Baki's always sort of played around in this imaginary space. Baki himself has been known to imagine if a praying mantis was as big as him and then fight it.
Amazing.
And there's this sense that if you truly can picture it, other people might be able to picture it as well. But Musashi brings a much more hostile version of this philosophy than we've seen before. But yeah, as you said, this scene just sort of ends with Sabu the killer just leaving in shame. I did want to touch on one thing first. Did you like when
Yeah.
Musashi broke the swords?
Yes. It was from like a cinematography point of view, or like the intention of having a scene. I could tell that that was going to have purpose, or I'd hoped it would, which it does when we move forward in the episode. But it was very interesting to see that happen,
And
because it was such a focus, right?
yes. And do you think that it's real? Do you think that if you were really good at a sword, you could pull off what Musashi did?
Ooh, I know about nothing. I mean, actually, I would say yeah, it is possible, but it'd have to be a really crummy sword. Like, you know what I mean? Like, of course, if something's not forged properly, like the core could be weak enough, but I don't think people would be battling with swords of that quality or lack thereof.
Imagine you're one of the 20 guys who got killed by this guy with just a horrible sword. He basically just killed you with a wiffle bat.
And you're just like, oh man, it wasn't even a good sword.
But that's basically it. Oh, I guess there was one other thing, because this is his introduction. What did you think about Musashi, our invincible samurai?
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. First impression was, what is with the symmetry of this man's face? It was a very jarring look. I find his character very visually unique, and I don't know if that's intentional or not, or maybe if there's even backstory to that.
Well, that's
Um,
yeah. My understanding, Musashi. So first of all, you know that Musashi is of course a real person from the 1600s.
yes.
Okay, perfect. I This is my pet theory, is that Itagaki, the author, has based Musashi off of a very stylized portrait that was drawn of him.
Okay.
And in that portrait, his eyes look a little bit off, and Itagaki decided that the artist was not wrong, and that Musashi just always looked that way. And
Okay, amazing.
it gives him a very very distinct symmetrical look. Yeah, the symmetricalness is actually very important to how uncanny he is.
Right? Like it's jarring and it's quite clear. In fact, I almost feel like, and maybe I'm reading into this way too much, but because that is something I noticed right away, when that first slice in the episode, against, oh, what did you call him? The 20,
Sabu the
20 people.
killer.
Yeah, it's also a cut right down the middle, and it just felt very pointed.
Hmm.
Like it was just like, focus on the fact that we're doing like a midline here. He's quite the character, this Musashi. He almost gives me like this vibe of, as much as I'm not sure if he's real in this sphere or not, he seems to almost believe he himself just kind of transcends everything. Um, I don't know. I feel like I'm in like this Twin Peaks universe of not knowing what is here and what isn't, from what I've experienced. But he's
It's
quite
actually a
unique.
very grounded, down to earth show. I would say there's just sometimes they clone dead guys from 400 years ago, and then
Okay, great.
put his soul in his body by like getting a 90-year-old psychic to kiss the corpse. But
Oh, that's how fantastic.
yes, but that's for another episode.
Okay.
Don't want to get bogged down by that. Let's move on to the next scene. So we leave Musashi alone for a bit, and we're left with Tokugawa, who is the little guy, the third guy in that
Mhm,
scene that we had, and Baki, and they're talking about a
mhm.
fight that happened in another episode. What did you get out of that?
Well, that was wild because, first of all, getting into that scene was such a tone shift. And then there were like three other tone shifts within that scene. Obviously, I was excited because I had clearly met Baki.
Hmm.
So now I'm like, yay, I have the titular character. That's important. And I was interested to learn more about Takugawa because I could tell, obviously, if he's transferring scenes, he's going to be important. Um, I noticed Baki calls him grandpa. Are they related?
No, he's just old.
Okay. He's just old, and that's just like what we say. Okay, got it. So I thought it was very interesting because, I mean, I don't know how old Baki's supposed to be, but it gave me the sense of like this like boy really full of wonder, because the way they're recounting this other fight with these two people who I, again, really have no context as to who they are. It's just like he's got so much wonder and awe and admiration about the battle, which is
Mhm.
pretty cool.
It was a spectacular sight to see. I couldn't believe it was happening. The kind of platinum card battle no one could take issue with. Oh!
Oh man, Hanayama's really something, isn't he?
Got a good chuckle out of the computer bit with the and the like CCTV footage of the one guy getting thrown through
Oh,
the
yeah.
convenience store wall.
And he's smiling at the end. Hanayama's
Yes,
just
the most
got a
beautiful smile.
big grin.
So like I don't know, I was like really enjoying that scene because it just felt kind of light and fun and cute, and then that like recognition moment from Baki of someone else being Miyamoto, being in the other room was like very jarring. Is that typical of his character?
Baki's character is very odd, honestly. He doesn't. Baki, you are lucky that he's in this episode. There's a bunch later in the season that he's not really going to be in.
Okay.
But when he does show up, he is quite all over the place. He often acts really cool, but will flip on a dime and just say something ridiculous. He, at the end of the day, he mostly just wants to fight. Well, you know what? Every previous season, I would have said he mostly just wants to fight his dad, and that's his whole life. But he did that last season, and so
Oh, character arc, we've met it.
yes. So this is sort of the introduction of a new goal for him with Musashi. The actual premiere of the season was called the Unyielding Yawn, and it was that Baki just couldn't stop yawning, even though he was trying to live his most exciting life. And so I think Musashi is supposed to be the solution to that. Somebody so terrifying that even the world's strongest boy has to take it seriously. I did also really enjoy Baki in this scene. He had a great quote where he described Hanayama as macho to the max.
Macho to the max.
Which I thought was a fun phrase. And he also, when Tokugawa was telling him what's behind the door, and Baki just went, I don't know, man.
That was so funny.
Either way, there is something on the other side of that door.
Well, go on then. Let me hear it. Who do you think it is? Huh?
How the hell should I know? This ain't a movie, man.
It's like the weirdest fourth wall break, right? Like,
yeah.
and I think even it's Tokugawa was like, "Are you joking? Are you kidding right now?" And he's like, "No, but I can sense it, you know."
Yep. And he walks it back immediately. He goes like, I don't know, man. It's not a movie, but I can sense someone behind that door coming to kill me.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then, of course, we all know who's behind door number one. It's Musashi Miyamoto, who more or less teleports behind Baki. Baki jumps in the air, and we see his foot get cut off. Before realizing that was all, of course, imaginary. Was that a surprise when you saw his foot get cut off?
Definitely, because everything I'd seen as far as like battle or violence had gone up until that point were just like little white lines of imaginary slashes, right? Like I hadn't seen anything truly gory or violent. So yes, very jarring. And then of course we're going to get back in right away because like you said, you realize that hasn't actually happened. It's been imagined.
Yeah, which is going to happen a lot this season. We also get another fun visualization thing. This is a recurring theme in Baki, is a fighter might see something as something else to demonstrate, what their body is telling them. And I really enjoyed the juxtaposition here. Baki sees Musashi as a nuclear bomb going off, and Musashi sees Baki as an all-you-can-eat banquet. What do you think that means?
Quite a contrast. I mean, obviously I get the sense that Musashi is, I don't want to say good guy, bad guy, but like he's a very power hungry person who's focused on battle being life. I don't know much about Baki, but I would think that to Musashi, the banquet kind of shows like, oh, look at what I could get from kind of taking this kid on, right? Like it's a satisfying thing to take him on, hence it being a feast versus what am I meeting in front of me now with him being an atom bomb, right? Like this is just disaster.
Yep. Yeah, no, I think that is the interpretation. So, of course, Baki realizes by just looking at this very odd looking man that he must be the 400-year-old Musashi
Yes.
Miyamoto in the
Yes.
flesh.
But how but yes, and kind of going back and forth with Taogawa, is that what it is?
Tokugawa.
Tokugawa, and kind of being like, I think I know who this is, and obviously Tokugawa knows who this is, but isn't like giving it up kind of thing. So there's that little back and forth too.
Tokugawa was so annoying during all of this. There was no reason not to tell Baki. And he never confirms it until they're fighting outside.
Musashi Miyamoto?
What? Whoa, 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 whoa. Baki, do you hear yourself? Are you losing your mind?
Yeah, it's like he kind of just gaslights him and lets him feel insane.
Oh yeah, Baki, it's definitely Musashi Miyamoto. What do you think? I spent $1 billion and built a skyscraper to build a secret lab underneath to clone this guy? That would be crazy.
I mean, it is crazy.
That's a good rule of thumb with Tokugawa. But yeah, so this man is Musashi Miyamoto, the greatest fighter in history. A good rule of thumb with this show, honestly, is there's like tiers to fighters, right? Like let's put averaged everyday Joes like me and you at the bottom, and we'll put athletes a step above that, and then people who know martial arts a step above that, and then people who know Japanese martial arts a step above that, and then following that train of thought of just valuing being Japanese and knowing martial arts, it makes sense to end on Musashi Miyamoto, the historical sort of living legend of Japan.
Yeah, like the cream of the crop, the true pinnacle.
Yes, yeah, he's a character that comes up a lot. I find if you watch any fighting anime, either they'll reference him or go back in time and fight him or something. I don't know.
Lots of time travel. Love it.
But anyway, so they decide to go outside, and they have a quick chat. Baki's like, "Are you unarmed?" He goes, "Ha! You think I'm unarmed?"
You'll fight unarmed?
Aren't you unarmed?
Huh. Is that what you think?
I noticed that Musashi Miyamoto probably like 8 times says, "Huh? Is that what you think?"
A battle like this just going to waste?
Huh. Is that what you think?
And then just points out
Really,
that he-
really gets them, right? Keep them on your toes. Just gotta toss a question back at them.
Yes. But he eventually shows off that he isn't really unarmed, because if he puts his hands together, it looks like he's holding a sword. What did you think about that?
Well, I just think that was the visual manifestation of if I put my mind to it, I can take you down, right? Like the whole idea of I don't actually have to do it. I just have to believe it, think it, carry it through in my own mind. And so that sword isn't necessarily a sword. It is like the thought or the intention.
I like that. Yeah, he's just manifesting the idea that he's going to beat you up, or
Yeah,
slice you
exactly.
open, I guess.
Yeah, and if you have that power, which I think Baki even says something like that, like there's that type of power, or there's a line to some likeness of that, which means he's obviously quite fascinated by the fact that you can do this.
Mm-hmm. And so it leads into them fighting, and it doesn't go very well for Baki. How would you describe
No.
this fight?
Was it really a fight? Honestly, it was funny, and it's commented on by Miyamoto as they're going through. He's like, why would you, compromise yourself and put your leg in the air and be off balance and all of this? And he's just kind of flapping around like a chicken. And then, of course, that's where we get the moment where that clashing of the swords from earlier in the episode is brought back in, right? We get that flashback
Yeah.
from Tokugawa, who is like, oh my gosh, as you're watching Miyamoto go to slam Baki into the floor, and I'm like, oh gosh, am I gonna watch this kid snap in half?
It feels like he should have died there. It was intense.
Truly, that was a lot, right? And it's even further backed up later when he's smashing the bamboo. It's just like bodies don't withstand that. But anyway, it he does. But it's
Yeah.
embarrassing. It's not a good fight. It's not a good look for Baki.
No, and I loved how casual he was throughout. Like Musashi has some great lines. Like I think he said something like, "Oh, are you from the Ryukyu Islands? I hear they like to kick people there."
Are you from Ryukyu? I haven't fought anyone from there yet. But I've heard tell of a martial art from that island chain that uses kicks. It's a curious technique. It seems disadvantageous to make yourself unstable by standing on one leg during a fight.
Yes.
I would never do that myself. Like the idea of just saying that kicking is not a good idea is a very refreshing take on martial arts.
Yes.
And I like the idea of how do you make a swordsman into a martial artist for a fight? And the idea, the way they do it in this fight is very clear. They turn Baki into a sword. He holds him by his foot the entire time. He's showcasing his grip strength, his arm strength, and of course he breaks him just like a sword. Great little fight. And that, of course, brings us to Baki waking up and realizing that he just fought. It'd be like if I woke up and just realized that Paul Bunyan kicked my ass. Like, it's a very odd thing to go through. But he goes out and
So odd, in fact, he doesn't believe it at first when he wakes up.
yeah.
Has to have his little like dream montage and then come out and be like, oh no, that's real.
Yep, and he's still out there. Miyamoto's still out there, and he's breaking bamboo. He's picking up what do you call it, like a shaft of bamboo or something, and he picks it up and he swings it like a sword, and the bamboo breaks into a million pieces due to the wind resistance. In itself, pretty fun. But what I loved is Baki asked him, "Why are you doing this training?" And Miyamoto's answer basically was, "I don't know." This is what you do, right?
Musashi, tell me, what is the purpose of this training?
What is its purpose? Honestly, I've never thought about it that way. Put simply, training is training, and it's what a proper swordsman must do.
I thought that was so fun.
Yeah, good question. I didn't actually think that one through. Yeah, no, I just am.
This is just what I do. This is what we did 400 years ago. We just broke bamboo.
And I mean, surely it has value. It's still good practice, but it is pretty funny to have him met with that question and just be like, "Oh, actually, I don't know."
So Miyamoto is pretty bored with things at this point. He does get Baki to kick a bamboo thing, and Baki, of course, can kick through bamboo and apparently make it smoke somehow. But
yes, that was quite a visual effect.
Yeah, it was a good kick. Miyamoto's bored. He wants to go into town. Tokugawa, of course, doesn't want this, and we'll get into why, because eventually in this season, Miyamoto will go into town, and it obviously does not go well. But before that, Baki steps in his way, and do you want to just carry us into the end of the episode? What note do we end on?
Where we have Baki, who's accepted defeat. In fact, he's asked for a rematch and then been embarrassed because he realizes that is just shameful. Like he's been killed and all of this, and he decides, actually, no, you're not going anywhere. And I believe it's like a air drop kick that we go into right where we stop. Baki just delivers
It's actually a jab that he does.
Oh, you're right. You're so right. He says it's the fastest of the.
It's the
yes,
fastest
he
punch.
winds up.
And to quote him exactly, he says, "I am faster than the speed of light."
Whether it's modern martial arts, fighting sports, or combat disciplines, the fastest move in all of them is the jab.
I am faster than the speed of light!
And that's the moment we end the episode on.
I am faster than the speed of light!
With like a beam of light around his fist, just inches away from the face of
think that
Miyamoto.
beam probably isn't catching up to his fist. His fist would be ahead of the beam, being faster
Yes.
than light.
And so he's now decided he is going to actually re-challenge Miyamoto and just full send.
Do you think it's going to work?
No, absolutely not. In all honesty, from And I don't know if I can get this tone of a show from one episode, but I think it's going to be another truly embarrassing, hilarious defeat, similar to what we've just witnessed. Um, and that Miyamoto will probably either go on his merry way or find this so entertaining that he sticks around to, humor it.
Yeah. Well, I can't say anything. I have seen what happens next, but I am looking forward to it. I will say I think it goes in an interesting direction. That's more or less the episode. The ending credits for this season, of course, also suck. But so before I get into your general impressions, did you have any unanswered questions? Anything you wanted to bring up?
No, I think a lot of like what we talked about did answer my questions, more so about the sphere of what is real, what isn't. And it sounds like everything's real. It's just more we let Baki's imagination kind of play within the episodes. And also, honestly, I think my only other real question was about his relationship to Takugawa, which you've answered for me. So, nothing episode pertinent. A million other questions because what is even happening? But as far as the episode goes, I'm feeling pretty good.
All right. Well, let's move into just a general sense. If you had to rate Baki out of 10 based off this one episode you've seen, what would you give it and why?
It depends on like what the scale is. I mean, entertainment factor high. I'd give it a 7 or 8 because for something that I only gave 20 minutes of my life to, it's got me asking questions, right? It's
It
not
stays in
something
the
that
back
I
of your
watched.
mind.
It does. It's
Yeah.
very curious. And anything that it's me asking questions is something that's got my attention, right? There are tons of things where I can walk into a room, see an episode of something, and then never think of it again. This is very engaging. So yeah, I'd put it up there like 7, 8 as far as entertainment goes. I'm not typically an anime person, so it's already pretty outside of my genre, which in all honesty is I think higher praise of it because if it's already something that I wouldn't typically engage with and then it still captured my attention, that's pretty impressive.
Yep. And I'll just say this for better or worse, Baki is still pretty by itself, even in the genre of anime. There isn't a lot of stuff like it out there.
Pretty unique.
Yes. Yeah. Did you have any general questions on Baki I could help answer quickly?
I guess at this point, if I wanted to, like, let's say I decide, you know what, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna binge it, I'm gonna keep going with this season.
Mm-hmm.
How much of Baki is continuation? Like, how important is it that I have the full picture leading up, or is it something I can pick up and make sense of?
So that's a great question. I think different people give different answers. My opinion, though, is Baki's fun when you don't know what's going on. I got into the 2018 revival of Baki on Netflix, which starts about 100 episodes into Baki, and Netflix doesn't have the rights to the original series. So what they did instead of putting that up there so you could watch it was whenever a character walked in, they gave you a 30-second montage of everything they've done, and then just sort of said, "We're moving on."
Hey.
So and honestly, it makes it more fun because you really don't know what's going to happen. There's a large cast of people who just stumble in at times. So yeah, if you wanted to keep watching, I think you'll enjoy it just as much.
Okay, great. Because that's probably honestly at this point, I'm kind of into the idea of finishing out the season.
Yeah, go for it. I hope you enjoy it. Anyway, so that is that. One last thing we have to do before we wrap up is we got a fan question last week. I'll let you answer. It might be tough for you because of the limited characters, but the question was, we recently got an actual sort of magical character introduced this season, Tokugawa's sister, who can channel the dead and place them into empty bodies. The question
She's the
was,
one who kissed?
Yeah,
like
she does it through kissing, yeah.
Okay, great.
The question is, who is the most magical character in the show other than her? So I'll let you answer because you only have about three to five.
I really do have
characters.
3. I have 3 other than the swordsman who was defeated and left immediately. So it is rather limited. I mean, What is the name of the character who was thrown through the convenience store wall?
Oh, Hanayama.
Yeah, so part of me wants to say that only because the way Baki spoke of him,
Macho to the max.
like so highly, right? Like
Mhm.
with all of this admiration, makes me more curious about him. And there is something pretty magical about a man who can get thrown through the wall of a store and wear a smile afterwards.
Hanayama does have
So,
a magical disposition to him.
yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
a good answer.
Yeah, because I think Miyamoto is like, I mean, it's magical in and of itself that he is here in this world, but he isn't necessarily magical, in my opinion. Baki is a crazy kid. Tokugawa is like that pawn shop uncle that everyone doesn't want to talk to at Christmas. So that's why I'm gonna go with the ones I know less about.
Yeah, I like it. Um, I will. I was thinking about this question. I was actually talking with Lindsay. She brought up Gaia as an answer. Gaia, of course, is a character from the first season who once threw so much sand in the air that he turned invisible, even after the sand all fell, because
Okay.
he knows that he's camouflage was the explanation. I'm gonna go with Dorian. I think it's the safe answer. Dorian, of course, can hypnotize people during a fight, which is another handy
That's a good
trick to know.
advantage. Yeah.
Yes.
Very helpful.
Although honorable mentions, of course, to Kaiokaku, who can, of course, die in the middle of a fight and then come back to life.
Nice.
And Baki, of course, also has a lot of magic going on with his imaginary praying mantises and dinosaurs. But, yeah, that was our fan question. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Sam. This was a blast. Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a delight and always a pleasure to have a chance to see something I wouldn't typically see on my own, you know?
Yep. That's fair enough. All right. That's all the Baki we've got to talkie. So see you all next week.
Awesome. That work out
And
for
you're
you?
done.